Hello everyone, Jolene here from Bookworm Adventure Girl. Welcome back, and if you are new, thanks for checking out my channel. Please hit subscribe and stick around. I hope that you are all doing well. I have missed being with you. I know that I've been a bit absent. The videos that I would have normally put out last week didn't go out because just a lot has been going on. Life kind of took over and I had to hold off on some booktube stuff, but not to worry. In fact, you know, everything is good, all is well. Maybe one day I will share some of what's been going on with you. And then, of course, as I was about to get caught up a bit and I'm going to do a haul revisit, my tripod broke. So you might notice that there's a little bit of a different setup, but you get to see more of my library this way. So I am going to do the revisit, and that is when I take a look back at the books that I hauled a year ago. And in May of 2021, I hauled 10 books, and I will let you know that I read 2 of those books, which is not the best percentage-wise, but 6 of them are still very high on my TBR. And then those final 2, I've never forgot about them, but they did kind of slip on my TBR. So I'm going to go through all of those books, and if you have read any of these, I would be happy to hear what you have to say about them. So let's get started. So I have read We Dream Medicine Dreams by Lisa Boivin, and I actually just talked about this book when I did the Picture This readathon that Shelly Shellyish from Shelly Shellyish Library and Jack from Spreadbookjoy, they both hosted this readathon. And this is just a beautiful book. This is an Indigenous story about a young girl whose grandfather is dying. And Lisa Boivin also illustrated the book, and I love the vibrant colors and all of that. The next book that I read was Music of Bees by Eileen Garwin. And this was a good book. I enjoy the characters, and it's about a chosen or found family. And of course, you know, the connection to bees is really neat. Has anyone else noticed that bees and like bee things seem to be everywhere right now? So in fact, I went to a hive a couple of weeks ago and I got to visit the bees. I will put a couple of pictures up for you. But if you enjoy books about bees or how we are connected to animals and things like that, then this is a really sweet story. Okay, so next are the books that are still on my TBR. And the first 2 are nonfiction. First is Gather, on the joy of storytelling, and this is by Richard Van Camp. Most of you already know that I enjoy Indigenous books and stories, and I have really been wanting to read this. So I'm looking forward to, you know, learning more. And Richard Van Camp is an author that I've been wanting to read for some time, so I'm looking forward to that. The next nonfiction book is Buses Are A-Comin' by Charles Person with Richard Rooker. I've talked about this before, and I had originally planned to read this last year for Nonfiction November, and I never got to it. So if I don't read it before November this year, then I think that this will be one of my, you know, top priorities for that. Charles Person was the youngest of the original Freedom Riders, so I just think that his story would be very interesting. The Mermaid of Black, Conch by Monique Roffey is also still high on my list because I have heard great things about this book. It has won so many awards, including the Costa Book Award in 2020. It's also a quick read. It's less than 200 pages. And who doesn't love a good mermaid story? So I have very high hopes for this one. Up next is a book that I have mentioned, I think it was in last month's haul, because I have hauled this book 3 times, and that is The Samurai's Garden by Gail Tsukiyama. And this was probably the first time that I hauled this book a year ago. And if you've been watching for a bit, you might recall that I had issues with my first couple of copies. One included a lot of water, and books and water it turns out, doesn't mix well. So I do really want to read this book, but I've only really had it for about a month in a readable format. So I will get to this. And then the last two books that have remained on my radar, I can't really remember exactly why they both appealed to me at first, other than I know they both got a lot of hype. They are also both thrillers. And the first is The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dave, which people said was a page turner. So I do like a good, page turner. This is about a husband who goes missing or disappears and has got a message to his wife who, along with her husband's daughter, her stepdaughter, they start to find out who this man really is. And it turns out that they didn't really know him at all. And then the next one is We Begin at the End by Chris Whittaker. And this has also had a lot of hype. It's been compared to William Kent Kruger novels, which I adore William Kent Kruger. People have said the writing is powerful and that the story has many layers. So this, is still very high on my TBR for me. And then finally, the last two books that I haven't forgotten about, but they haven't remained as high on the list, are We Are Watching Eliza Bright. This is by A.E. Osworth. And this is another thriller, and I had forgotten that I actually won this book in a giveaway. And I was interested in it because it seems that there is an interesting main female character and an unreliable narrator, which I often enjoy if it's done well. So now that this is back on my radar, hopefully I can get to this sooner rather than later. And then the final book on the list is a romance that I received from the author, and that is When We Blinked by Stephanie Mack. This book appealed to me because it had been compared to You've Got Mail, which I absolutely love and have been known to quote it on many occasions. The main character in this book has split up with her husband, and she begins to use a dating app. So I think that it will, kind of be like a more modern, updated version of You've Got Mail. So those are the books that I hauled last May that I will hopefully, the 8th that I still haven't read, hopefully I will get to those. Please let me know if you have read any of these or if you are interested in any of them. I always love to hear what you have to say and what you think of them. Maybe that will also help me prioritize which books will be read first. Thanks again for your patience as I kind of slowly get back to putting out my content and fixing my tripod now. I hope to be caught up in the next week or so. There will hopefully be a tag this week, and if you like haul videos, then I will share the books that I hauled this month as well. So spoiler alert, there's a lot of books for that. I look forward to chatting with you in the comments as always. Thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and don't forget to make every day an adventure.